Hey there, Jerome here, time management and efficiency coach. Welcome to this week's video. So this week, I briefly want to talk about what do we do when there's a conflict between our head, our rational brain, and our heart, what we feel we should do. Because I think a lot of times in life, things that make perfect logical sense to us, that we know we want to do to get us to where we want to be in life, for some reason it doesn't feel right. And then there are other times when something feels so right, but it doesn't make sense. So how do we kind of clarify it? How do we make sense and make the right decisions when we have the push and pull of our logical brain and our heart? So something that I do with my clients and also with myself, I kind of break it down. So what is intuition? What is instinct? You know, why is it so important to us? And if I've been reading a book recently called Psycho-Cybernetics by a guy called Maxwell Maltz, and this book's like from the 70s. It's an old book, but there's a lot of wisdom in there. And one of the points it makes quite early on is it talks about animals and instincts. And you know, if you think about a squirrel, okay, so a squirrel that's born in the spring, you know, and bearing in mind squirrels have brains probably about as big as my fingernail, right? My little fingernail. So a squirrel that's born in the spring has never seen a winter before, but come the autumn, it automatically starts, you know, stashing nuts, building a stockpile, because it knows instinctively that there's going to be winter coming. There's going to be a severe scarcity, so it prepares for the winter. Now, squirrels don't go to school, they don't go to college, they don't learn this stuff. It's instinctual. And same with birds. You know, a lot of birds immigrate in the winter, so they know they have to gather in a flock and set off, and they have their V formation, right? And they take it in turns to go to the front and lead, because of the drag stops them from getting tired, so they fly on each other's kind of drag. And they know, they don't have sat navs, they don't have like a TomTom or a Garmin or a map. They know where to go. You know, humans have to, back in the day, we'd follow stars and look at the sunrise and the sunset. And now we have computers to teach us these things, right? So why do we feel this conflict? Why don't we just go with our instinct all the time? Why don't we go with our intuition? And the thing is, the human being's greatest strength is also part of our greatest weakness, right? Because we have the ability to learn and adapt and grow and change. Okay, you think about it, our entire language patterns are learnt from the environments we're born in, depending on where we're born geographically. We learn our language patterns from our parents, we learn our habits. Sometimes our religions and beliefs are passed on to us from our parents or people we've met. You know, we're adaptable, we can be influenced and we can influence. And sometimes this can cause a lot of confusion. You know, we have mobile phones that are full of games and apps and social medias, and it's constantly buzzing here. We have the internet with a whole wealth of information, and sometimes people think that they have more time than they realise. They think, oh, I'll try this, or I'll do a little bit of that, and a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and bang, they do nothing. They spread themselves so thinly, or they get so confused about what to do, they don't take any sustained action. They don't take steps and build themselves up to something purposeful, because they're operating from here. They're trying all these get-rich-quick schemes. You know, they're trying all these different things that don't really work, because they're thinking about an outcome that actually doesn't mean anything to them here. And even if they succeed, and even if they pull it off, they're still left with themselves at the end of the day, and it doesn't quite feel right. So the advice that I give is, when you're trying to work out whether you should be doing what makes sense or doing what feels right, is think about the outcome. What do you want? What do you really want? What are the key things you want from life? Where do you see yourself in the next 10, 15, 20 years? And when you know where you want to go, it's very easy to start building the frameworks and the steps and the habits to get you there. And you know if it makes sense. You know if it's in your heart. Because the body can be very, very clever, very manipulative. You know, if you're watching this video, you've got electricity, you've got the internet, you've got food on the table, and you've got a roof over your head. And that's all we need to survive. You know, humans are here to procreate, to nurture our young and move on. And if we have any kind of hidden fears or doubts, you know, our body will do whatever it can to preserve itself and keep itself safe. So, you know, part of the developing process, part of the learning process is going through these challenging moments, but it's knowing where they're coming from. It's knowing what the challenge is, right? Is it a fear? Is it a limiting belief? Is it logic saying, oh, I can't put all my money into that, into education, onto doing these courses, onto buying coaches? Or is it your fear of like, what if I spend all that money and it doesn't work? What if I'm not good enough? What if I'm not worthy? And, you know, my honest truth belief is we all have so much inside of us, but a lot of people are very afraid to share it with the world because they don't believe they can, or they just don't know what to do. And one of the hardest parts of the self-development process is realizing that if you want to become this person, if you want this level of success, we have to leave the person we are or the person we were behind. And that might mean leaving some friends behind, might mean leaving some family members behind. But at the end of the day, if it's what you want, it's your life. Life is so short. We don't have that much time here. So you need to nurture every minute, every second to make sure you're present, to make sure you're happy, to make sure you're growing, you're going in the right direction. And yeah, things change in life, but you don't need, but you know, to really make the most out of life, it's about taking sustained, repeated action. So even if you learn a lesson and you're not instantly successful, over time, you'll get used to the mindset and the habits that will get you to where you want to be. It's about sustained, prolonged action over periods of time will get you to where you want to be and get you away from just operating at a low level that's not very fulfilling. It may be easy, it may be full of quick rewards, but I promise you this, a day will come where you'll look back and you'll realise the potential within you that hasn't been realised. Okay? So when you have that conflict between your head and your heart, don't think about the process, don't think about anything other than the intention, the end game, the goal, the purpose. And when you've got that clear in your mind, when you're on the right path, you'll know what to do. So thank you very much for watching this week's video. Hope you found a lot of value here. If you click on the link below, you can sign up to my mailing list where you'll be getting free exclusive videos just like this one here to give you time management and efficiency tips. And I'll also be giving away the first 2 chapters of my forthcoming ebook, The 7 Deadly Sins of Procrastination. There's also a link to the Facebook page where there's some information coming up on there too on getting the most out of your day and the most out of your mindset to make your life work for you, not to make you work for your life. So if you give us a thumbs up, and I look forward to speaking to you again in the future. Take good care of yourself, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.